Hey guys, Aries here. I'm going to show you how to win every single lane you'll ever play, except if it's a very hard matchup like Syndra into Heimerdinger. If that's the case, as Heimerdinger you want lane swap, that kind of stuff. So yeah, so really all you need to do is, so first of all, solo lanes require 7 minions for level 2. Dual lane requires 9 minions for level 2. So for dual lane, that's the first full wave plus 3 minions of the second wave. Cool. Solo lanes, again, that's the first wave plus 1 minion of the next wave. It doesn't matter if it's a melee minion or a caster minion, it's just 7 minions and 9 minions for a solo lane or dual lane respectively. So the way you're going to want to be playing this lane, or any lane, and again, this works for almost any matchup, unless it's a very, very, very hard matchup. So what you're going to be doing is you're just going to shove. You're going to shove the first wave. And so, first wave is going to meet, they're going to meet here, you're going to start shoving it, and second wave might be there. You don't want to shove it too hard, because if the second wave meets here, and you have to go and ward, that allows the blue side laner here to get a few extra auto attacks or abilities off on the wave, and they'll get level 2 first. So you want to shove it, but maybe don't shove it too aggressively if you're thinking you're going to have to ward at 245 or 230. So shove the wave. Get the 7th minion all in them. That's it. That's really all you're going to need to do. So what you're going to be doing is, it depends. Top lane is very matchup oriented, so you're going to have to know, are they, or am I going to want to be playing around the brushes, or am I going to want to be playing around the river? So most melee matchups into ranged matchups, they're wanting to play around this brush control, so that the ranged top laner can't, freely auto harass them as they try and farm. So, yeah, but depending on that, you're just going to play either top or bot side of the lane. But again, you're going to be pushing as hard as you can. When that second wave is, or when that 7th minion's about to die, you're going to be running into the opponent. So if the opponent's standing here and the wave is frozen there, what you're going to be doing is, as soon as this minion's about to die, when it has 2 HP left, you're going to click aggressively into the opponent. If they click into you, you've shoved. You're shoving. If they're not matching the amount that you're shoving, you have the minion advantage. You can fall back to your minions, they'll be taking minion damage. That's a lot of damage pre-6, that's a lot of damage that they need to respect. If they take too much of that, you can just ignite them, flash all in them again, and you'll win it. Just be careful if you're running flash ignite, if they're running flash teleport, even if you win that fight, since you're shoving into them, you might need to recall after an all-in like that. You will get the kill, which is 300 or so gold. You'll recall, but they'll teleport back to this tower, and since you're shoving, you may not have pushed it all the way to their tower because of the jungle pressure around 3 minutes. There might be a wave and a half to 2 waves built up here that they're going to be able to get. So right away, this actually makes up with their teleport the amount of gold that you got from the kill. So you're not actually really far ahead. So you have to be careful with that with teleport versus ignite. But for the most part, just as soon as that 7th minion's about to die, click into them, force the all-in, force them back. The wave's still frozen here, pushing towards them. You stand around this area. It allows you to maybe go down here, ward, and then freeze the wave. Force them off this minion wave, force them off 4 or 5 minions, and get the farm advantage. Now, in terms of warding top lane, assuming you're blue side, it's going to depend on how aggressive is your mid laner playing. Obviously, if your mid lane's pushed back like this, your warding location is going to want to be around here, because there is possibility that the enemy jungler runs like this, takes the scuttle crab, runs up and ganks you, because mid lane's pushed in. If your mid lane is pushing out like this, then it's not as likely that the enemy jungler is going to feel safe enough to really run through the river like this. It is still a possibility, so you're going to want to see, where is my jungler? If your jungler's around here taking scuttle crab, yeah, you don't need to ward this, you need to ward the tri-brush, because you know if anything's happening over here. So just look at, where is the mid laner, where is the jungler. If your mid laner warded this, you're going to see if the enemy jungler runs like this. Obviously be careful if it's a Nidalee or a Zac or a Vi or anything like that, or Kha'Zix, where they can jump over this wall and then gank you. So just be aware of possible gank paths. But if your mid lane's pushed up, chances are the enemy jungler is going to do some sort of, Gromp to red to Raptors to, or Gromp to blue to Raptors to red, and then gank through tri-brush. Or if they're being really aggressive, it might be Gromp to blue to gank mid to gank top, or something like that. But just look at how your mid laner is playing. It'll tell you where you need to ward. So that just gets you the farm advantage level 1, and you're not level 1, level 2, and you're not even doing anything. All you're doing is saying, okay, when I hit level 2, I'm going to make sure I hit level 2 first, and I'm going to all-in them. And that's it. You do that same sort of thing mid laner. Obviously, mid lane depends a little bit more on what the jungler is doing, so you need to be a little bit more careful about possible ganks. So, just because bot lane they're going to go Krugs, red buff, bam, bam, they can gank. It is possible that they gank you as you push in. If you're red side, you can push in like this, get the level 2, all in them, force them back, try and freeze here, and then the enemy jungler just says, ha 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 ha, dead. So you have to be careful with that. Obviously, if you have a really strong level 2, you might kill them, or you might force them to recall. Then it doesn't matter if the enemy jungler comes to you, because you can just fall back, maybe burn your flash, but you're not going to die. So likewise, if you're pushing in like this, the same sort of thing is they'll take Gromp, they'll take blue, and then they can, bam, check scuttle, and then gank. Or gank. Or, like, gank, or like run around this way. And obviously, it depends on how well can the jungler clear. If they have to recall after Gromp, like a Kale or something like that, if they're not running attack speed, or if they're not just jungling properly, they might not, like half health or so is still a little bit risky to gank if you get counter ganked. So maybe their jungler isn't the best early clearing, so they might not be able to gank anyways. So then even more pressure to get that level 2 all in. So and that's how solo lanes really work. So, push for the level 2, be aware of where the jungler might be. Again, if it's before 2.5 minutes, 2:45-ish, they can't really gank you, but just be aware of the possibility that they end up ganking you after one camp with like a cheese play or something like that. It is possible. It typically doesn't occur, but it can happen. And then, place your ward, freeze the wave, get the farm advantage. When they come back, force them off again. They're level 1 or level 2, you're level 3 or 4, and you win. You get a very big laning advantage early on in the game, as long as you don't throw it or make a very big mistake or die to a gank or something like that. You're hitting level 6 first, you can all-in them then with your summoner spell up again, if it's ignite or something like that, if it's heal, if it's barrier, it doesn't really matter. You can all-in them level 6, you have the level advantage, you have the ultimate, you have the summoner spells available again, and you should have wards available. If you know you're going for a level 2 all-in, maybe you want to ward a little bit earlier. So right when the first minion wave hits, maybe you're going to want to ward then. So again, it's not just you're going for the level 2, so you're going to ward after it. It's you're going to be making these plays. So first minion wave spawns at 1:30. It's going to reach here at like 2:05. The second wave is going to reach here at like 2:35. You're going to clear it at 2:40. Jungler can gank at 2:45. So maybe right before the first wave hits at 2:05, you're going to want to ward here, so that at 3:05 this ward expires, but you've already done your all-in. So again, it's about knowing that we are going to be doing these all-ins, so we're going to want to ward such that we have vision over the span of this timing. Same thing for level 6. Maybe you hit level 6, between 6.5 minutes to 7:10, something like that. So maybe at like 6 minutes 20 seconds, you're going to want to ward somewhere. Now, it's nice to note that around 7 minutes, the first buff that the enemy jungler cleared is going to spawn again between 7 and 7:30. So maybe if they cleared bot lane and you're doing an all-in around 7 or 7:30, enemy jungler's already recalled and they're around the bottom half of the map. So we're going to want to ward around here at about 6.5 minutes. That's going to line up with our level 6 timing. It's going to let us know where the jungler is, and we're going to be really safe doing it. So that's mid lane. Same thing goes with top lane. Again, it's not just a mid lane thing to be aware of where the jungler is. It's a full, everyone's going to want to do that. Okay, so now looking at bot lane. So this is a little bit different because it doesn't take 7 minions, it takes 9 minions. But again, the same idea holds. Lane's going to freeze here. When you're approaching from bot lane, or from blue side, you're going to run in like this. You're going to you're going to leash for your jungler. If you're a melee support, you're going to tank it. So like Leona, what I do, I start Q unless it's a lane where I can start E. Typically what you do here is you stand really close to it, you auto Q auto this minion, jungler smites it, and then you're going to start attacking this minion. And then when it gets low, you're going to back off. You're going to take about 80 to 100 damage. A little bit more isn't bad. And you're going to run around this way, you're running down, you're running in here, and then you're basically running at the end of the wave. And you're seeing, are they in this brush? Did they ward this brush? You're going to see the enemy support run in like this. And if they run in here and they ward your brush right away, you don't really need to ward their brush because you're not really worried about them. If it's a melee or if it's a ranged lane, yeah, ward this if you're a Leona or a melee support. If it isn't, you're not too worried about it, because all you're going to be doing is auto-attacking minions. You're not worried about grabbing brush control, blah blah blah, any of that crap. You're worried about pushing this wave. You want to push this wave so that when the next wave hits, it's about here, and then you're going to kill the next 3 minions, and right when that minion's about to die, you're going to run super aggressively into the enemy ADC, and you're going to ping it. Now, you don't need to ping in a solo lane because you're the only person there. You need to ping in a duo lane. If you're the ADC, again, you know, you're autoing this, you're clearing it as fast as you can. Maybe if you're Caitlyn, you're going to Q the minion wave. You're actually going to start Q, not W. You're going to Q the wave, make sure it dies as soon as it can, get the 9 minions as fast as they can, or kill the minions, first 9. Doesn't really matter if you get all the gold, like all the last hits, but get most of them. And you need to ping the enemy ADC just to make sure that the other member of the duo lane is on the same page as you. I've had it happen before where I go in, I forget to ping, and my carry runs back, and then I'm there to 1v2 the enemy ADC and support and their minions and stuff like that. My carry's running back, and I'm like, what are you doing? We have level 2. I didn't ping, and I died. Or I have to burn flash and exhaust and all my potions, and it's really bad. So make sure you run in, you ping, so that your ADC can follow up with you, and you can kill them. With Leona, this is always going to get a kill. Like, always, always, always going to get a kill. If it doesn't get a kill, you're burning all their summoners, and then you're going to fall back, and you're going to ward the river. That's it. And you can do this against, you know, even if you're a utility support like Soraka or Janna, just be a little bit careful if you're like an Alistar, or against an Alistar or Leona. You know, just because you all, okay. And also you want to be aware of how your minions are dying, because if they're going to hit level 2 first, their timing, like the timing that you had is the same timing that they have. So you need to be really careful about that. So if they're going to hit 2 first, you need to back off. It's that simple. But if you're hitting 2 first, even if you're a Soraka, you can go aggressively on the enemy ADC or support. Make sure you ping, go in, force them back, stand about here, and then just freeze the wave. That's going to draw a bunch of pressure. Bot lane, maybe the enemy jungler says, oh wow, I need to pay attention to bot lane. They're getting destroyed. ADC is going to have a 20 CS advantage, you might even get a kill. Going to draw the jungler down. You have this warded, so you can fall back accordingly. And you've just wasted the enemy jungler's time. You forced the bot lane back, they're off of CS. You have the CS advantage, you may have gotten a kill for your carry, you may have gotten a kill for yourself. Good things are happening. And this isn't just important for you, as the support or the ADC or the solo laner. This is also extremely important for the jungler. Now, a lot of people I've been talking with who are in silver, you know, gold, bronze, around that area, it's always the same, like, oh man, I always have really bad junglers who don't know how to play, or they have sated and they don't actually stack until 30 minutes and we already lose by then, and blah blah blah, they lose control of their jungle. And this is a way for, you know, a non-jungling player to basically help your jungler. Because if you're doing this level 2 all-in, big play, getting a kill, doing all this crazy stuff, the jungler is going to notice, the enemy jungler is going to notice, and they're going to react to it. So this is assuming that the enemy, your opponents, are intelligent players who react to your decisions. This is a pretty reasonable assumption. And if the enemy jungler reacts to your big pressure play bot lane, they're not going to think, oh, well, I need to invade the jungle now. They're going to be thinking, I either need to counter gank or gank bot lane to try and, you know, alleviate or relieve some of this pressure, or I need to gank top lane and help apply some of that pressure, maybe asymmetrically, to the top lane. But they're not going to be thinking, okay, my bot lane's losing. This is a really good time to go and invade the enemy jungle. So it's still a possibility. They still can do it if they know that they just straight up win the 1v1 against the enemy jungler. But it's less likely to occur because you're essentially distracting them. So this is a way for a non-jungling player, doesn't matter if you're bot lane, top lane, or mid lane, to basically defend your jungle. So it's your jungle, it's your job to help your jungler. If they're going Devourer, you know they want to hard farm. If you see them wasting time, just say, don't worry about ganking, I'm fine, just practice on, or just work on farming, get your sated as fast as you can. Just hard farm, I want to see like a 15-minute Devourer, and you kind of pump them up to hard farm. And you know, you're playing in a way that defends their jungle, you're playing in a way that if you push up and enemy jungler runs in here, even if they go for this play, you can fall back and essentially 2v1 the enemy jungler. Even if you don't get the kill, your jungler doesn't die, enemy jungler wastes his time, your jungler can go back to farming. So it's a way to defend your jungle while winning your lane. So that's kind of the 2-in-1 sort of video here, is how do you deal with a shitty jungler and how do you win your lane. So level 2 timing, level 4 timing, level 6 timing, different things like that, working with power spikes. But again, it's really easy, just 7 minions for a solo lane, 9 minions for a duo lane, make sure to ping the duo lane, go in, force them back, freeze the wave, good things happen. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and this is something that's going to allow you to win a bunch of games, like most of your games, if you aren't doing this. So this is a very powerful timing that will allow you to win a lot of games. So hopefully you find success in solo queue with that. Make sure to leave a comment if you are finding this useful. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.